we're going to talk about this overreaction or reality. Obviously, with all these games, everybody kind of had their opinions, and they went right to social media or to their group chat, and they hammered them. And one of those opinions was brought to us by my guy Will Kramer, who, after we all watched Florida State upset Alabama, my guy was only calling this. He's calling this man out, saying Kalin Debor needs to be fired immediately. Is that an overreaction, or is that a reality? And anybody take it, Will, if you want to start,
I would
let
say
us know.
Will's idea. Does he want to start with it?
It's not an overreaction one bit. I can't believe that they let him show up and do a press conference today after that, after what he's been doing. How do you still have this guy on your sidelines? I mean, no, it is an absolutely overreaction, but it is not out of the question that he is coaching there for 2 seasons and 2 seasons only, because he still, after this one, has 5 more games against the top 25. And the problem right now is it seems to be within the program, and since he took over, it's discipline and effort. And that's the part that has people so shook right now about Alabama, is it's not the fact that you're playing games and losing. You're losing to Michigan in the national semifinal. Okay, they won the national championship. All right. It's the fact that you've got guys who are playing undisciplined, which was not a thing under Nick Saban. But more importantly, they're showing clip after clip after clip of guys just not hustling out there. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, but, especially at a place like that, and whatever these kids are like, here's a little example of you want to get paid to play, you better bust your butt if schools are going to be giving you that money. So that's where I think he's in some trouble, is to find out, does he have control over this team? Now, did he not bring in his offensive coordinator from his days at UW? So clearly,
and Sioux Falls and everywhere else.
Now, I have my concerns about their quarterback. I've never kind of been a fan of Ty Simpson, so I'm not surprised. But he doesn't have the easiest of schedule, and he's got to right this.
And let's not forget Ryan Williams. Didn't he get hurt in that game? Did he go out with a concussion?
Don't ask me that.
I cannot remember, but he was not impactful. Whether
he had all of his receptions were all of his receptions were short, screen passes, little small out routes, things of that nature. He never was really able to get deep. But I'm pretty sure. Shout out to Jim Jones in the comments talking about that I think he got a concussion later on in that game. So obviously
he did say that.
That plays a factor. But to your point, Will, I mean, one of the clips that they keep showing on Instagram is the Alabama linebacker who just gets run over by one of the blockers, and it's just like, what? Are the guys like Reuben Foster? Would that happen to them? No, they would kill. You know what I mean? So something's got to change, and I definitely think that this is not a good look. But again, the question is, are we looking at Florida State as what they were a year ago? Right. Or are we looking at, and same with Bama, these with the transfer portal and all this stuff, these teams change drastically year to year recently. So maybe they're not getting those dogs anymore. Maybe some of those 5-stars that were on the bench, as College Football 26 has taught me, leave the next year. They get out of Dodge quickly.
Yeah.
Mind if I chime in on this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to say Will Kramer makes a good point. I love how I said your full name. Regarding the lack of discipline and all that. And a lot of it, what I wonder is, Sean, currently Alabama does not have that problem yet as far as talent. As far as the roster goes, it's still top 2, top 3 talent-wise. My question is, and this goes to whether like the Brian Kellys of the world that were at Grand Valley State, then they went to Cincinnati and Central Michigan and all that. You have a way that you build a program, and the formula that works for you. When you go to Alabama, you're not like, for a lack of better analogy, like you're dealing with Ferraris. And Ferraris operate much differently than your Ford F-150s do, from the way they drive to the way you take care of them. So it's got to be a completely different mentality of player that he's dealing with than he's honestly dealt with before. Maybe, at Washington, he got a guy here or there, but it's nothing like this roster. So you just kind of wonder, does he know how to deal with elite caliber players? Because they have different expectations. They also signed up to go to Alabama, where I'm going to jump back to Will's point. It doesn't matter if this was 2 years ago Florida State or this was last year Florida State. Alabama doesn't lose to Florida State.
Right.
So Alabama doesn't lose week 1, period. That's their first week 1 loss since 2001.
Yeah. So, but there's also $60 million buyout. So that's a lot of coin even for Alabama. But losing to any Florida State is not okay in the realm of the last 15 years in Tuscaloosa. So I don't think it's an overreaction. And if we see more of the same the rest of the season, I agree. He very well might not be the coach starting next year, even with a $60 million buyout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the buyout thing, you look at what A&M did with Jimbo Fisher. Like, at some point, the money doesn't matter. If you've got to make the change, you make the change. Alabama, to me, seems very similar to the situation we've talked about time and time again this offseason in Wisconsin. It seems like where Luke Fickell went in and tried to change Wisconsin football. Mm-hmm. It seems like Kalin Debor is trying to go in and change Alabama football, which has been so successful and so dominant for so long. You don't change that blueprint. You go in and you mold yourself into what Alabama football does well, and you figure it out that way. Is it an overreaction to say he needs to be fired now? Obviously, yes. But I think there's still time to right the ship. Obviously, it's an insanely tough schedule. But if they can pull out some of these wins in some of these really tough games, then it goes from it goes into the Billy Napier situation last year, where a guy that looks like a dead man walking saves his job.
Yeah. You know what I think? EK, you were just saying it. So I don't fault the choice to hire Kalin Debor, but he's about to have a season where he plays 6 top 25 teams. He never had that at Washington. So, and he wasn't with Washington when they had moved over to the Big Ten now to play that schedule. They were playing in the Pac, however many teams they had, 10, 12, 16, whatever they are, where he might have gotten, tested 1 or 2 times a year, 3 at most.
I will say that was the best year arguably in like decades for the Pac-12. Like Oregon was right in the mix there. SC was in the mix. Arizona. Like, now, obviously not to the level of what you regularly get in the SEC, but that was a tough conference schedule they had that year too.
It was much better than it's been in for many years. But I don't fault the choice that, like, hey, this is a rising and up and comer. Let's bring him here. But you gotta wonder, is he in over his skis at a school like this? The expectations, like EK is saying.
Could be, and only time will tell. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, no. It's just a matter of, can you do it? I mean, if they give him 5 years, Alabama will be really good again. But are you going to give him 5 years? Because he's had success doing his thing. So I have no doubt with a long enough runway, he would do his thing. But
can he do it on an Alabama timeline?
Exactly.
An Alabama timeline was before he was born.
Yeah,
he
it's
needed to
already.
Quick, hurry up! They're already looking for the next guy. So yeah, we're all kind of on the same on that one.